What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel as you tune in and check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to speak on some recent comments that Skap made about LeBron James and Kevin Durant, right? And basically, eh, he basically said that they were underachievers, right? And because some LeBron James fans and Kevin Durant fans, they make excuses for reasons why, LeBron James didn't win as many championships or why Kevin Durant keep, falling short with winning championships and falling short in the playoffs and stuff like that, right? And Scat points out that all players have all players have had bad luck throughout their career. But what makes players like Kobe, and he used Kobe as an example, different is that they are all able to overcome and persevere despite the obstacles that are in their way, right? It's basically what he's saying is you don't get any excuses. You don't get to say what if or make excuses. Just like when what's the guy named Tracy McGrady tried to say that if he had to play with Shaq, he would have been able to win championships with Shaq, right? You don't get to go back and rewrite history like that. You have to make the best of whatever situation you are in, right? And so, you don't get credit for what you didn't do, basically, or what you could have done. And that's what the point that Scat makes when he's talking about Kevin Durant and LeBron James, right? And he basically said that these guys underachieved. And I agree with him. Like I've said in previous videos that I don't think that Kevin Durant or LeBron James reached their highest potential, because and to be able to reach your highest potential, you have to be number one, you have to be in a place where you are going to like constantly improve your game, not just be a great basketball player and move around from team to team, like what they did, but you have to be able to persevere. Like some seasons you're gonna have injuries or you're gonna have um different kind of setbacks on the team, but you have to fight through all that. And that when you fight through those type of situations, that just makes you a better player. Besides, on top of the natural skills and natural abilities that you already have, it just makes you a better player. And you've seen it with Isaiah Thomas in Detroit. He had a ton of injuries, and then they had to find a way to beat Boston. You know, that's how the bad boy Celtics came about. The bad boy Pistons came about because they needed to be physical and match the intensity of the Boston Celtics. That's how he got past Magic because they had to overcome those guys. Mike had to overcome Detroit. Mike had to, he had to get past Boston and get past Cleveland, when he was in the when he was coming up through the ranks. And that type of perseverance just build character and it makes you a better player. And that's what I think Kevin Durant and LeBron James are missing because they were able to move around and then their fan base make excuses for them and they just didn't reach their potential. So let me play what Scat had to say, Scap, and I'm gonna come back and add to it.
Social media forums and talking some sense into this next generation. But yes, the Kobe Bryant 09-10 run, just solidified to me his Mount Rushmore status. Kobe just speaking of guys, look, Kobe had a lot of bad luck in his career. And this is what I'm saying about this is my point about Kevin Durant, and for that matter, my point about LeBron James. Both of them have caught bad luck throughout their careers, you could say. Like KD, I already highlighted and referenced that, dude ruptured his Achilles in a series where he easily would have three-peated and probably been finals MVP. And then he lost out on another ring, whenever I'd say Kyrie and Harden got hurt in that, I think it was 2022, I want to say, where Milwaukee went on that run and beat the Suns in the finals. Look, that was a 7-game series between the Nets and the Bucks without Harden or Kyrie, that KD, you thought ended it with that 3. Remember, in like regulation in game 7, KD looked like he hit the game-winning, series-clinching 3, but upon review, his toe was on the line. So the game ended up going into overtime. The Bucks prevail in overtime, then they go on and win the NBA championship. Look, obviously the Bucks would have lost that series to the Nets if Harden and Irving both didn't get hurt. So like KD got some bad luck. Gary 828 Sports has highlighted it. Great video. You should go check it out, about the officials kind of taking away the series for the Oklahoma City Thunder in 2012 against the Miami Heat. Some extraordinarily questionable calls in game 1 and 2. Because remember, the OKC won game 1, then some very questionable calls in game 2, which would have led to a 2-0 series lead for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Totally different scenario at that point if you're up 2-0. So, look, KD could have, should have, would have had more rings. Same with, you can say LeBron. Like LeBron, all right, like the first series that the Warriors won in 2014, they go in, the Cavs go in. Go ahead, Gary.
15. 14 was Spurs.
2015. Okay, so 2015. The first championship run by the Golden State Warriors and Steph Curry. They go into that series against the Cavaliers. Kevin Love is already ailing and out for at least game 1. Kyrie gets hurt in the first quarter, I think, of game 1, and he misses the rest of the series. So Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving both missed the entirety of that series, and yet the Cavaliers had a 2-1 series lead in that series against the Warriors. So, like, again, if you just envision a world where Kyrie and Kevin Love don't get hurt, because guess what? It happened the very next year when the Warriors were 73-9. They get back in and play the Cavs. That time, Kyrie and Love are in, and they beat the Golden State Warriors. So, like, that's bad luck for LeBron. So bad luck. I'll let you in a second here, Gary. I just want to finish the point. My point is here on this Kobe thing. Everybody has bad luck. Like Kobe tore his labrum in his right shooting arm when they were going for a 4-peat and they lost to the Spurs. He tore his labrum in the first round against Minnesota that year, and they ultimately lose to San Antonio in the next round when Shaq and Kobe were going for the 4-peat. So, like, bad luck. Kobe ruptures his Achilles when he's still like a top 5 player in the NBA. Bad luck. So every player catches bad luck. Kobe's franchise, the Lakers, were just abysmal and inept and traded Shaquille O'Neal away for Lamar Odom, Brian Grant, and there was a third player. I'm struggling to remember, but a terrible trade in the midst of Kobe's prime, when he's in his absolute best, has no opportunity to compete at all. Bad luck. Every player can point to bad luck. Michael Jordan with the Scottie Pippen migraine game against the Pistons in game 7. Like, every player catches bad luck. But ultimately, Kobe Bryant still found his way to 5 NBA championships, even in the most stacked era, the most stacked conference in NBA history. That's why he's Mount Rushmore. And KD, in like a 16-year career, has only found his way to 2 rings. So, like, I get that bad luck exists for everybody, but like for LeBron, 4 rings in 23 years, underachieving. KD, 2 rings in 16, 17 years, whatever it is, underachieving. Kobe Bryant, Mount Rushmore. The dude finished.
Yeah, see, and I agree. Like I said, when you have 4 rings in 23 years and he's still playing, and I'm not a LeBron hater or a Kevin Durant hater, right? I just love basketball. So when you have these guys who had all the physical talent in the world and didn't maximize, and like I keep going back to my main point, I think that had these guys stayed with one team and allow a good general manager and a good coach to build around them, it just would have looked better for their legacy. Like if LeBron James in 23 years still, if he'd have had 4 rings in Cleveland, like that looks better than 4 rings moving around from team to team. Kevin Durant, if he have 2 rings in OKC, that just looks better for his legacy. And you'll get a better Kevin Durant than somebody who's moved around and went from team to team looking for help. That's why I like Steph Curry, because Steph Curry have all his rings with Golden State. They didn't win 4 in a row. They won 4. I mean, they won, then they lost, then they came back, then they lost again, then they come back and win. So I just think, man, it's about that perseverance. I think that's better for your legacy, and you get a better brand of basketball player, because if you in it to win it with your teammates and your organization, and then everybody just you raise your teammates' level of play, and it just looks better, in my opinion, than going from team to team. Like Steph Curry, what if he had did like Kevin Durant and LeBron James did, and went from team to team every year? Whoever he thought was going to get a ring, they would look at him differently, And so I believe you got to look at LeBron and Kevin Durant the same way, as underachievers. So that's my take on it. Make sure to like, subscribe. Also, don't forget to leave a comment, and I'll check you all out in the next video. Peace.